Hey everyone, it's Rihanna and welcome back to another video. So today I wanted to talk about some of my favourite British TV shows. Me being a Brit, we're not in the best situation right now. The UK is not doing well, but let's not dwell on that. But me being a Brit, I appreciate good television, and I appreciate especially good British television. So let's talk about some shows that I love that are British. So the first show I want to talk about is The IT Crowd, which stars Richard Ayoade and Chris O'Dowd, starring as Maurice Moss and Roy, and then there is their boss Jen, and this just tells the story of two IT workers in this company and just their normal everyday antics really, and how they make it hilarious. This show is so funny, and the characters are super likeable because I can relate to them so much. Roy just hates people and I'm like, I feel you. Not that I hate everyone, but I have those days, you know what I mean? And I just love Richard Ayoade. I want to be best friends with him. This show is super funny, super original, and just takes the everyday kind of slice of life genre to the extent of being absolutely hilarious and making you kind of want to work in the IT department of a company. The next show I want to talk about is another British comedy because, if I do say so myself, the British are great at their comedies, and that is The Inbetweeners, one of my favourite series of all time. Absolutely love this show. It's another kind of slice of life kind of genre TV show following four friends, Will, Simon, Jay and Neil, as they go through their sixth form years of high school, and The Inbetweeners is just genius and hilarious. It's kind of a statement for every British teenager to watch this show and relate to it. And The Inbetweeners also got two movies. The Inbetweeners 1 is actually really funny. The Inbetweeners 2 is just bizarre but also a really fun time to watch as well, and I heard that the US got a version but it's not very good. So watch The Inbetweeners, the UK version. It is so good. I've rewatched it so many times. If I'm ever in a bad mood, I will just go to The Inbetweeners. The third show I wanted to talk about is Skins, which I think got 7 seasons. I haven't actually seen every single episode of Skins, so that makes sense. This also got a US version, but I've never watched the US version, so I couldn't tell you whether or not that version is good. But the UK version of Skins has 7 seasons, I believe, and every 2 seasons of Skins they change the cast, so the first 2 seasons are one cast, and then we have season 3 and 4 which is different, and then 5 and 6 which is obviously different again. And it just follows a group of teenagers who live in Bristol that are going to college, and just their kind of everyday antics as teenagers, going out drinking, drugs, sex, things like those. But you get super attached to these characters because I think the show makes it really relatable. It doesn't sugarcoat or anything. It may be over the top sometimes. Skins can be really over the top. Like, things in this show are things that I haven't witnessed in real life, but I guess other teenagers might have. And I have to say, my 2 favourite series of Skins are 3 and 4 because of Effie Stonham and Freddie, who are played by Kea Scodelario and Luke Pasqualino. There are a lot of famous faces in Skins that are now doing other things. Hannah Murray, who was in the first season of Skins and the second season, is now in Game of Thrones. Kea Scodelario is in The Maze Runner. There's also Joe Dempsey, who was in the first series, who's in Game of Thrones. Dev Patel now does films. It's crazy how many kind of Hollywood stars now had their start in Skins. The next show is kind of Skins with a twist, and that is Misfits, which I've talked about on my channel quite a lot. I love Misfits. I rewatch it every couple of months because it is so good. It follows 5 teenagers who are doing community service, and one day they get struck by lightning and then they get superpowers, and it's just so good. I would have to say the first 2 seasons of this show are my favourite because of Robert Sheehan, who plays Nathan Youngs. He is one of my favourite characters in TV history. He's so funny in this show. I love him so much, but the original cast members work so well together, and how they have their powers, and how it's not exactly a hero story, more like an anti-hero story, because they are doing this community service and they're not all perfect people, they're not all good people, should we say. So I like how they took that comedy element with the superhero kind of genre into one show. It really works. The next show is actually one of my favourite TV shows of all time that I've watched so many times, and that's Miranda, starring Miranda Hart. It's also written by Miranda Hart, and it follows a 30-something-year-old trying to work her way through life. She owns a joke shop, she has her friends, and one of her college sweethearts comes back to where she lives from travelling, and she kind of has to cope with her feelings for him, and it's just such a hilarious show. It's not everyone's cup of tea, which I understand, but Miranda is very similar to how I am. She's very clumsy and says the wrong things a lot, which is how I am a lot of the time. So I really relate to this show. But this show is so funny. It has 3 seasons and it has a finale that got me really emotional because there was no more seasons. But yeah, I love Miranda. She's great. The next TV show is probably one of the most obvious on this list, and that is Sherlock, starring Benedict Cumberbatch and Martin Freeman. This show is so good. If you haven't seen Sherlock, I don't know where you've been, to be honest. Sherlock is probably one of the shows to watch when it's on. There's only 9 episodes, there's 3 seasons and 3 episodes per season, and they're all 100 minutes long, so it is a lot to get through. But I've watched the season so many times because they are so good. And the show's created by Stephen Moffat and Mark Gatiss, and Stephen Moffat does Doctor Who and all of that jazz, but honestly, Sherlock is so, so good. Even The Abominable Bride, which was the Christmas or New Year's special last year, I love that as well. I love the time periods. I just love the whole mystery of the show. I love murder mysteries in films and TV shows. So obviously Sherlock is a go-to. I love that show. The next show is a TV show I recently just got into, and that is Peaky Blinders, which is amazing. It's had 3 seasons out so far. It's renewed for a 4th and 5th season and follows the Shelby family, who are gangsters in 1920s Birmingham, England, and it stars Cillian Murphy and Tom Hardy's in the 2nd season, and it's just so good. I would definitely say my love for the 1st season overshadows my love for the 2nd and 3rd season. The 1st series of this show is so well grounded and knows what it is and shocks you every single time you watch an episode. It's just so good with its acting and its music especially, and its cinematography, and just its writing is so, so good. When you follow the Shelby brothers, Tommy, Arthur and John, you feel like you're a part of this unit, although you're not going to go out in Birmingham and destroy things. Peaky Blinders is really underrated, so if you haven't seen it, definitely go check it out. And we're on to the last show on this list, and that is Gavin Stacey. I mentioned this show because I recently just marathoned the show again. It has 3 seasons out and stars Ruth Jones and James Corden, who now has the big time Late Late Show over in America now, but before that he starred in Gavin Stacey, which is a sitcom kind of based show based in both Barry Island, Wales and Billericay in Essex. And it's about this couple. Gavin lives in Essex and Stacey lives in Barry Island, and they meet while they're working together. Like, they kind of cross over on the telephone lines and then they just call each other and that's all they do all day. And then the show starts when they meet up in London and fall in love, and it just springs from there. And we get to see Nessa, who's played by Ruth Jones, who is Stacey's best friend, and James Corden's character Smithy, who is Gavin's best friend, and their relationship and all of their family's relationship. And this show is just super, super funny, and you get really invested in these characters. I love kind of British everyday people stories because I just get really invested in them because I relate to them a lot more than I guess American kind of teenage shows, I guess. Like 90210, has that ever actually happened? I only wish Gavin and Stacey had a 4th series because they kind of left it on a little bit of a cliffhanger on the 3rd series. Just a little bit. So there you have it. Those were some of my favourite British TV shows. I will probably do a video on some of my favourite British films in the near future. Very excited to talk about that. But if you've watched any of the shows I've mentioned, please let me know down below in the comments, and what are some of your favourite British TV shows. If you like this video, please be sure to give it a thumbs up, and if you haven't already, please subscribe to my channel. I'll be doing lots more TV related and movie related videos for you guys very, very soon. As usual, all my social media links, including my Twitter, Facebook, Instagram and Letterboxd, will be down below in the description. Thank you guys so much for watching. That's all I have for you today. Bye!